Good afternoon, everyone. This is Dr. Serge again. So today I wanted to talk about a really interesting topic, actually, because when I was younger, my parents kept telling me that breakfast was the most important meal of the day. I don't know if you were told the same thing. And again, today people say or claim that you have to eat breakfast to help for the rest of the day. So there was a study that came out a few weeks ago, actually a few months ago, on this question: if breakfast is really important, what's the impact of skipping breakfast on general health and longevity, actually? So I wanted to show you this screen. Actually, this is a blog by Dr. Peter. I don't know if you know him. You can sign up to his blog. He has really, really good information. His goal is to debug and look at different studies done by different doctors on different health topics. And this one, the same question is simply if skipping breakfast impacts death, for example. So Dr. Peter referred to this study, actually. So this is the original study, the association of skipping breakfast with cancer-related and all-cause mortality in a national cohort of United States adults. So basically, these doctors wanted to see if people who skip breakfast have a higher risk of having cancer later on during their life, as opposed to people who eat breakfast. So if you go back to the original blog from Dr. Peter, so at the end of the day, it really breaks it down. I'm not going to go over everything because you can go there and you can read his blog. But if you go back to the actual conclusion of what he claims, I mean, he's really break it down really, really nicely. And his conclusion at the end of the day is this study was not designed to want to really answer this question if skipping breakfast does impact your health. As a matter of fact, clinically, what I have seen, I mean, for years and years, I had doubt about this claim that we have to eat breakfast. And what I see clinically with my patient is people tend to do better when they skip breakfast. I mean, all the time. I would see every day. I hear people that they don't feel hungry in the morning. They don't feel they don't start food. They feel a bit nauseous. They don't have an appetite. And I hear that all the time. There's a reason for it. Because between 5 and 9 a.m., more or less 9, 10 o'clock, this is where the body will detox the most. This is where the body will do the most detox. And then when you eat breakfast, when you eat food, it actually shuts down your detox pathways, and that energy is used to break down, digest food. So a lot of people don't want to eat in the morning because the body is detoxing, is doing what it needs to do uh, as healing, detoxing those different toxins that we've been exposed over the days and years and decades. So from my clinical observation, skimming breakfast is not necessarily a bad thing. Don't get me wrong, it is an individual question because some people do have to eat breakfast. I have some patients, they have some sugar issues, for example, and they do have to eat something in the morning in order to feel good and have a stable blood sugar throughout the day. Otherwise, they can be stuck in a roller coaster throughout the day and they snack and they eat different foods. So again, it depends where you are. It depends of your body's chemistry. It depends of your physiology. Me personally, I haven't had breakfast in years. I don't like eating breakfast. I don't like breakfast. I feel better when I don't do it. I actually fast. My first meal is at about 1 p.m. in the afternoon. So I do what we call the intermittent fasting, 8-16. So I fast over 16 hours and I eat over 8-hour window. So from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m., this is my window of eating food. I have two big meals at 1 and more or less 8 o'clock in between. I will snack sometime, and I don't eat until 1 p.m. the next day. So I've been doing this actually for years, and my body really, really likes it. It honestly took me a little while to get used to that. But once you get used to fasting, you feel good, you feel energetic, and it's really important as well that when you break your fast, you break it with a good quality source of protein. That's the key, because a lot of people will reach for starch, for example, a piece of bread or rice, and stuff like that. That's not the ideal. The best is protein, a piece of meat. Me, I will have a steak, a ribeye, a filet mignon. I will have a piece of fish. So that's how you need to break your fast to really get the best benefit out of it. So if you get back to the study that Dr. Peter was talking about, is we can see in bold here that they found, this is the conclusion of the authors, that seemingly reduce all-cause and cancer mortality risk among persons who consume breakfast every day may be simply the reflection of habitual breakfast consumption, being a proxy of health conscious lifestyle. And at the end of the day, what they mean is they say, and they cannot figure out with this study, that if you eat breakfast, those people might be more mindful to eat a healthy breakfast, organic, GMO free, having fruits, good quality food, as opposed to people who tend to skip breakfast. And I have seen that clinically, actually. So people who come to me, they have health issues, oftentimes they don't eat breakfast much, and they would eat kolaches or donuts, something sweet at 10 o'clock. That's how they would break their fast. So this is the worst thing. So that's what the authors claim is it's not because you skip breakfast that necessarily you have a higher risk of cancer. That's not necessarily true. And the study does not answer this question. And Dr. Peter actually has a second part to this, and he goes into more details about skipping breakfast, fasting, and all that. And we can say that fasting has a lot of benefits. Again, if you eat breakfast, some people do, you have to make sure that it's a protein heavy, having some eggs, some yogurt, you can add some nuts with, bacon, sausages, patties. Sometimes I will have a ribeye in the morning if I eat to eat. But this is typically I will skip my breakfast. Um, as opposed to having something more starchy and sugary like the quick fast food kolaches, donuts, milkshake. Sometimes people have, and so on and so on. So at the end of the day, it's not a bad thing. You have to figure out where you are on your health journey and see if skipping breakfast makes sense. And like I said, it takes some time to get used to that. Give it a try. Maybe try a few days, maybe a week, skip breakfast, or maybe try to extend the hours of your fast. You can start fasting from 9 to 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and 9 o'clock, and go all the way, build it up to 1 p.m. to do the 16 hours of fast. Some people have to slowly get into this habit of fasting so your body doesn't freak out. So there's many ways to help with fasting. And if you do break your fast, you have to break it with protein. Because if you have something sugary, a starch, carbs, it really cancels out the benefits of fasting. So I hope this makes sense. So don't be afraid if people say or claim, so you have to eat breakfast, otherwise it's not good for you, it's not good for your health. There's no claim to that. And clinically, like I said, people do tend to do better and feel better when they get used to skipping breakfast for a little while. So thank you guys for watching. God bless you, and we'll see you next time.